morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. And now that we've gone through the tutorial, and by the way, if you didn't watch the tutorial, welcome to the series. This is where we're going to start the actual scenarios. But if you missed the tutorial, we're going to do the first scenario now. And if you do want to see the tutorial scenarios and see what these tutorial scenarios look like, well, first of all, they're both exactly the same. Simple and expert controls, same basic route, nothing different. And I only take the expert ones. So you can go see the expert controls tutorial. That is the first video on the playlist. And you can go grab that if you want to see that before starting this one. Otherwise, we're starting the Welwyn Garden City down slow from London. And then next time we're going to do the back up from London. Or to London, rather. So that means we're starting our scenario at London King's Cross. And I'm just going to go ahead and be quiet and get in here. Notice these are all level 4 scenarios, except for one which is a 5 and one which is a 3. I don't know why these are considered so hard. Is it because of the high speed? I don't know. Let's just get in there and find out. Good afternoon, driver. You are currently at London King's Cross Station waiting for your booked departure time to leave for Welwyn Garden City. You will be calling at all station stops along the way. Start by collecting your passengers from King's Cross and then wait for your pre-booked departure time. Click close to continue. Okay. Doors are open. They should be anyway. I'll move the brakes to a step 1 as we are standing at a station. I never like to put them to release. We're going to put the reverser up. We're going to reset the AWS. I did have to reset out of simple controls for a moment. I was locked in simple controls after doing the simple controls tutorial, just to clear it from the list so I didn't have to think about it. I mean, from now on, I'm willing to do the simple controls achievement. Their scenario where there's a simple controls achievement. Otherwise, there's no point in my doing it. And for some reason, I've noticed that the score screen in career seems to get garbled when you head into the... When you exit the scenario for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it seems to only apply to this route. I've never seen that before. Anyway, we've completed our pickup at London King's Cross. We are going to be on our way, but we have a red signal right now, so I'm just moving up slightly so we're on the move. We can apply more power as needed. You already saw our chariot for the day. There's our green signal, so we can now speed up to 15 miles per hour, and we are off. You saw that we got 72 points for that stop, so that means that this must be very expertly calculated to make sure, don't break, make sure it's expertly calculated to make sure that we are able to complete all stops and barely make a 1,000-point score. There's a train ahead of us. I can't tell who it is because too many trains. It may be going in a different direction than us anyway, so we'll worry about it later. Let's review our itinerary. Oh boy. That's a lot of stops. We're going to be going to Finsbury Park as our first stop. So leaving London King's Cross, our first stop will be Finsbury. We'll have to be there in 4 minutes. At 15 miles per hour, this would be a challenge. Good thing we're going to move into 45 miles per hour in just a moment. Oh, thought I started speaking for a second. That little light you see at the end is not some mysterious buffer coming towards us in the tunnel. That is actually the end of the tunnel. I can hear a train coming up in another direction. You can see that 1441 King's Cross Peterborough has now taken off ahead of us here. So he will no longer be a factor to us in terms of viewing. We had a bit of a slow exit. He had a faster one. Speed limits. Actually, he's still alongside us. That's him right there. Do we have the right of way over him? That's hilarious, actually. That red you see has nothing to do with us. That's a different track. Don't worry about that. No, we don't have the right of way. We just have different tracks. Cool. We're taking the Holloway down slow. We're going to get to hear that HST for a while. Now, I don't have the old Armstrong sound pack installed, nor have I swapped the train with the Armstrong one. So we are hearing the basic audio. There's nothing fancy on this. It's just the basic audio. It sounds like it's going to be there for a while. Probably until we stop at Finsbury Park. There he goes again. Ah, he's getting the speed up because he's on the high-speed line. He saw another train on another line further to the right, going by in the right window. So he's getting to take off. We can go up to 45 miles per hour. He's going much faster than that, and he's going to be leaving our screen in a moment. That is quite a haze on the track, or that's something overgrown. There's a 55 that we're now in, so we're going to continue at 55 miles per hour. You did hear the ding. We do continue to have a green aspect on the run. There's a 40 junction there, which has nothing to do, I think, with us. We're doing okay for time, so I'm actually going to go ahead and ease the speed, not going quite to the speed limit, because we are in good shape here. If I have a stretch where I can talk more about the line, I will do so later on. Right now, I just want to cover the fact that the line from Moorgate, most recent station being Drayton Park, should be joining us. So Drayton Park is another access point to this line. It will be joining us on, I'm going to show you the map very quickly. It should be joining us right back here. Right there, you can see it joining us right there. There's Drayton Park. Down here to Moorgate is not actually shown, but there we are just passing that line right now. We're going to go ahead and continue on to make our stop. I didn't want full service, I want step 2. Now I'll take full service. Thank you. I came in a little too fast there, so full service will be needed for this first stop. Using it back for passenger comfort purposes. And doors are open at Finsbury Park, platform 4 and 5, apparently the same platform. Leaving Finsbury Park, our next stop is Haringay. We are leaving at a 55 mile per hour speed limit. We can see there is a 60 mile per hour speed limit further ahead. We are expected to be there in about 0.8 miles at about 14:49, 15 seconds. So you basically have a minute to get there. The HUD just zoomed out so you can now see clearly where it is. Yeah, try and get up to speed quickly. I could have actually gone to level 3 a little earlier, I think. I haven't actually gone into full check of how many throttles there are, or notches of throttle there are yet. I haven't felt that to be important, but sometime after we get into another gap, I will have to take a look to see how many notches there are. I'm not going to try to exceed 50 too much here. I actually should have stopped at 50. So I'm not going to exceed 50 right now because I do have a stop coming up. I want to start slowing down a little bit as I get towards the platform. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that now. So I'm going to go to full service to get the speed down to 30 as quick as I can. I'm not going to be able to narrow the platform at 30, but I'm a little above it, so we're okay. We can tolerate that. Step 2 brake now should be what we need. I'm going to go to full service to make sure we stop because this is a small platform. I might overshoot because I did not realize how small this platform was. So the front cab is not going to be able to open on this stop. That's going to be okay. We can still open the doors as we arrive at Haringay platform number 2. Leaving Haringay, our next stop will be Hornsey. Hornsey is about 0.6 of a mile away from our position, and we're going to be stopping there in about 70 seconds. We're not going to need to get up to full speed in order to get there. In fact, I advise maybe not going beyond 40 miles per hour. One of our indicators up ahead is clear, so we have a green signal or some kind of clear signal. I believe the other indicator is a junction indicator, which is not going to apply to us, hence why it is off. Indeed, their junction indicator to the left is off. You can see that on that signal as we pass it. That was the horizontal signal that accompanied the distant aspect. So I've started to slow down for Hornsey Station. In fact, a little bit early, so I'm going to take that off for a moment. Now we're going to go ahead and go back to step 2 and into full service. And taking it off to step 2 again. I'm just flinching back and forth so we can try to position ourselves on the platform properly. I've come back to step 1 for an easier stop for the passengers. We are technically 7 seconds late, but that should still be on time at Hornsey. Leaving Hornsey. Our next stop today is Alexandra Palace. Stopping today at platform number 3. Again, this station is close to where we are right now, and I noticed, by the way, level 4 is the highest notch on the throttle. So we will do the train tour in future snare, but I'm going to save it for the Armstrong Powerhouse version, I think, because it's got extra controls. There actually are a lot of controls that would make a video unnecessarily long for this, so we'll save that for the Armstrong Powerhouse tour, because I do have Armstrong Powerhouse snares that use that version of the train currently installed. So I'm going to do a step 1 brake just to start slowing down. We are getting closer to our station. We need to be there in about 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and go to full service to bring the speed down to 30 as we enter. That is ideal. I moved it back to step 2 because I felt it was coming off a little too quickly. We're down to 30 now, so I went to step 1 for a moment. Now I'm going to head back to step 2. For some reason I went back to step 1. Don't know why I did that. Back to full service because we are fully in the platform. I do want to stop now and try to be on time, easing off for the passengers. And arrival at Alexandra Palace platform 3, right on time. Leaving Alexandra Palace. Our next stop is New Southgate. We have a 75 mile per hour section coming up ahead. We have about 1.5 miles to go to New Southgate. This is one of the slightly longer stretches we have here, but it's kind of hard to talk about a lot about the route when we only have small stretches because I'm going to have to interrupt myself quite a bit here. What I will tell you right now is that the East Coast Main Line is a 393 mile or 632 kilometer high-speed railway, and naturally that means that we're linking a lot of places here between London, Peterborough, Doncaster, York, Darlington, Newcastle, and Edinburgh. We already saw the York to Newcastle section in an older era. We did see Edinburgh at the end of the Edinburgh-Glasgow. We're going into a rock area. Nice. I love it. Rock tunnels. Let's go rock digging, guys. That's just a graphical bug in Train Simulator. Nothing we can do about that. I wish that didn't happen, but maybe someday we'll get DirectX 12. Who knows? Oh, I was going to speed up, but we don't have to. And I already have to interrupt myself. Look at that. So, yeah, we'll come back to the discussion at a later time when we have a much longer stretch to talk about it, shall we? So we need to arrive at New Southgate. It's a little less than half a mile, but we have roughly an entire 40 seconds to stop there. We need to start slowing down now or we will overshoot the platform, hence why I'm in a step 2 break. I might be seen to be slightly late on this stop. Over to a step 1. Taking it off because I came down to 30 a little too quickly. Going in slightly, and now I'm going to go to a step 2 break. Now to a full service. Now there are stop indicators, but I'm not necessarily trying to meet them because I do have to meet the timetable as well. That's more important, so we're going to do that. Arrival at new Southgate platform at number 4. I'm going to assume that sounds horrible. I don't know if that's the normal horn or not. I'll reserve judgment until I hear what Armstrong Powerhouse has, because I'm sure it's accurate. Leaving New Southgate at our 75-mile-per-hour speed limit, so I'm at level 4 throttle. Our next stop is Oakleigh Park. This is almost 2 miles away, so we have a little bit of time to talk again. Continuing our discussion of the East Coast Main Line. It was built by 3 separate railway companies, each doing their own section. The North British Railway was between Edinburgh and Berwick-on-Tweed, sorry. The Northeastern Railway was Berwick-on-Tweed to Shaftholme, and then Shaftholme to King's Cross is the Great Northern Railway, which we're on. They all eventually amalgamated to become the East Coast Main Line, and one of the longer routes in the UK in terms of the length of the railway and how many places it covers. The West Coast Main Line over on the other side of the island is, I'm not sure if it's longer or shorter, but it does go all the way to Glasgow from London. And based on the angle it takes, I assume it's longer. Also based on my journey from Carlisle to Glasgow, which takes about an hour and a half, I assume it takes longer to drive as well. Because we didn't even see the part up to Preston or Missing Link or the part from Birmingham to Euston. So I've gone to a step 2 break. I may need to move to a full service break temporarily to get the speed down low enough. We will see. I might have done the break a little bit early, so I'm going to coast at 50 for a little while here, or 51. Now I'm going to start bringing it down again. Actually, full service is not what I wanted. We're going to stay step 2 for now. I've concluded I will need full service, so we're going to go down to full service now. And easing it off to step 2 as we come into the platform. Back to step 1. We're going to go ahead and go to full service because we need to get the doors open. So full service, we're just going to stop wherever we end up now. We are fully in the platform, so that's what counts. We have arrived at Oakleigh Park, platform number 4. So as you can see, we just left Oakleigh Park. Our next stop is New Barnet. We were stopping at platform number 4 there. We're actually very close to that. We need to be there in about half a minute, so maybe goofing off of that screenshot was not a good idea. Full service all the way. We're going to need it. This could be an overshoot, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it doesn't look like an overshoot. According to the platform indicator it is, but it doesn't look like an overshoot. Maybe our doors will still be open. Let's find out as we stop at New Barnet. Leaving New Barnet. Our next stop is Hadley Wood. I was still marked on time, so we're okay. I'm moving the throttle up to a level 4 immediately because I want to get up to speed to make up some time. We are about 1.4 miles away from Hadley Wood. One thing I forgot to mention a little further back as well, and I'm going to cover very quickly right now. Way back around after we left Alexandra Palace, the Hertford Loop line left our path. Now, if we go back to the map, you're going to see the Hertford Loop line is indeed represented in this route. Now, I don't know anything about whether it's scenery, but we'll find out in a future scenario if we take that path, if we're going to actually do anything along it. Yeah, back in this era of route creation, DGG was known to create routes and not fully scenery them. So the route may be there, the scenery may not, and the scenery may have been meant as a future update that may not have been applied. We'll find out. That's one way or the other we will find out. So we are now approaching Hadley Wood platform, and I deem approaching to be within half a mile. So we're going to start preparing to slow down here. Going to use the step 2 brake to start bringing off some of that glorious, glorious speed that we were getting to enjoy there. I need full service brake now. I'm going to overshoot. This will be another overshoot, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe not. This is a long platform. Compared longer than I thought anyway. Taking a while to get that speed down though, isn't it? It doesn't brake very easily. Anyway, arrival at Hadley Wood platform number 4. Leaving Hadley Wood. Our next stop will be Potter's Bar, stopping at platform number 4 once again. You may have noticed by now that we're getting platform 4 on a lot of these stations. That's because the high-speed line services platforms 1 and 2 on our right. The low-speed line, which is the stopping service that stops everywhere, is the one that services more of the platforms in one run than the high-speed trains. So some of the high-speed trains may service some of these platforms. Some stations may not even have platforms, in which case we would get platforms 1 and 2, and we pretty much have to stop there. We can't really miss those. Again, I don't know a lot about 2013 service patterns, so I'm not going to say anything. I haven't actually read any of those timetables yet. I've read 1994 and 2022. That's about it. So we're actually getting close to 75 for once. Right at it, actually. 75.4 I got to. So that's excellent. We are going to have to plan our stop carefully to not overshoot the platform. I was lucky that I had a longer platform to work with, or I would have really overshot the last station. So we are actually gaining a small amount of time on our ETA right now, which I find mysterious. But I need to start slowing down for our stop now, so I have moved to a step 2 brake application. When you're this far out in this train, you have to make these decisions to brake earlier. need to move to a full service brake temporarily, so I will do that. I'm going to stay in full service. I came in over 30 miles per hour, so we should fully make it in. In fact, I'm going to move to step 2 for a moment so we can inch forward, but I do have to get those doors open. So back to full service. And I'm now opening the doors at Potter's Bar, platform number 4. Leaving Potter's Bar. Our next stop is Brookman's Park. I read that as Brookmere Park for a second, so I wanted to make sure I got that right. Brookman's Park is our next stop. 75 miles per hour remains our speed limit. We have 4 stops remaining. After Brookman's Park, we have Welham Green, which will be followed by Hatfield, and then Welwyn Garden City. Beyond that is Welwyn North, but we're not going to be stopping at Welwyn North today. Our service ends at Garden City. We have a 55 mile per hour section coming up, so I'm easing off the throttle a little bit in preparation for that. This might be a bad decision. Maybe I will take advantage of a little speed. We're going to have to slow down by the time we get to that 55 anyway, so we're just going to treat it as if it's not there. I've turned off my throttle at 74.7 miles per hour. We're going to plan to get under the 55 and then keep slowing down. Coming up on 3/10 of a mile from the sign, I'm moving into actually I'm going to use a full service brake. Now back to a step 2 brake to keep slowing down. Moving to a step 1 for a moment to make some further planning. Back to a step 2. And I'm going to actually use full service again for a moment, but I should be able to come in at a step 2 once I get to the right level here. In fact, I'm coming in a little slowly, so I'm going to go back to a step 1. I'm all over the place with my brakes on this one, guys. That 55 out front threw me a little bit. We do have time to get the train stopped and open the doors, so I'm actually going to take the brakes off for a moment, speaking of being all over the place, but now I'm going to put them back to a full service so we can stop. Oh, I did that wrong. I'm going to overshoot, aren't I? I did that wrong. We might still be on. We'll find out. Arrival at Brookman's Park, platform number 4. Leaving Brookman's Park, our next stop is Welham Green. You just saw the King's Cross to Stevenage HST service going in the fast lane. It didn't stop here, naturally, because of how fast it was going. Now, Welwyn Green does have a small platform, or Welham Green, sorry, has a small platform, so we're not going to want to overshoot that. We're going to want to slow down a little earlier for this station. Which means going 63 right now might be a dangerous prospect when you're half a mile from the platform. Let's put a step 2 brake on. Going to stay at a step 1 for a moment. We're having a little bit of a downhill grading here. There's a Peterborough to PBR. What is PBR? I don't think it's Potter's Bar. That doesn't make sense. Not 100% sure. I came down a little too quickly, so I've gone ahead and eased off the brakes completely. Once I enter the platform and half the train is in, I will put a full service brake on. So now full service break. I might actually be late on this stop, so I don't think I'm going to register a game save here just in case. We can, we're going to actually overshoot the platform slightly. So we can afford to be slightly late, so it's not a major thing if we are late here at Welham Green. I'll explain in a moment. We were considered on time. Leaving Welham Green, our next stop is Hatfield. This time stopping at platform 3. We might be having a bit of a line change up ahead. So we have about 2 miles to go to Hatfield. This is one of the longest stretches of driving we have, so we have a chance to make up some time at high speed if we choose. We're going to see if we can do that. Our arrival time is expected to be 15:18, so we have a little bit of time to get there. Or no, it's a 16. Am I reading that right? 16. Sorry, 15:16. I can never read that 6 and that 8 properly. I mentioned previously that there are some stations beyond Welwyn Garden City. There's a lot of stations. Stevenage is 3 stations later. We also have Nebworth right before Stevenage, and between those is where the Hertford Loop line rejoins the railway. So the diversion comes from Watton at Stone. That's the last station on that part of the railway, and then it rejoins. Watton at Stone is a very British name, isn't it? That also follows Hertford North. Hertford North, obviously the railway is named after Hertford, the loop line. Anyway. People from Allen Thompson may also be familiar with the lines beyond Stevenage. If you continue to Hitchin, what will happen beyond Hitchin is you're going to find the line to Cambridge and ultimately a connection to King's Lynn through Ely. That route does exist all the way. Actually, it's 2 separate routes. The Cambridge route is one line, but the line to King's Lynn exists as one full route from Allen Thompson's Inn. They also have a Cambridge to Peterborough leg connecting the Cambridge to our terminus at Peterborough. And if you happen to own both, both that and the main line to Cambridge from King's Cross, you actually get an upgraded Hitchin to Peterborough section as a bonus from what I'm reading. So that's kind of interesting. I'm actually looking at potentially getting both those at the same time when the time comes. But as I might have said earlier in the proceedings, I need to control my spending right now. So that's going to have to wait. In the meantime, arrival at Hatfield platform number 3. And I think we are on time. Leaving Hatfield, our next stop is Welwyn Garden City. I want to make a quick note on the manual, something that I noticed in the manual as I was at the waiting at Hatfield. As the train goes by over there, we didn't see who it was. St. Neots does not appear on the map in the manual, and there's a very strange reason for that. The reason for that is because the prose on the left actually covers the name of the station. You see the dot on the map, but the name of the station is covered. So a bit of a manual fail. I know who reads manuals. I read manuals to plan out what I want to show when I want to show it, because it gives me more information as a non-UK resident as to what all the lines are and lets me plan out exactly what I want to do when. That's why I look at the manuals. Don't judge me. I do it to learn more about the routes. And occasionally I have to look at London for help with the train. I have found that some of the manuals don't actually list all the keybinds, so that has limited functionality for me. So we are approaching Welwyn Garden City. We don't have a terminus platform, but I assume we're going to have a red signal because we're not allowed to go any further. So there's a yellow. That means the next signal could be red. It does have a junction indicator. It does mean the next signal could still be a green, but we're going to have to assume that it could be a red. So I'm starting to slow down a little bit right now. I will ease the brakes on, or put the brakes on more as we get towards the station. So we're going to add those brakes now to step 2. Oh, hello. He's going to Peterborough. 15:04 service left 19 minutes ago for Peterborough. There you go. I'm down to 25, so I'm going to try and keep going. I'm at 22 right now. I can actually increase the speed back slightly. I'm going to do that. So I'm down to 24.4. I am shown to be slightly late right now, but as we hit the new speed limit, our timing should update to maybe even gain some time. Who knows? Now, because we know there's a red at the end of the platform, we're going to have to plan for that. So I'm going to put step 2 brakes on right now just to try. Oh, I see a trigger. I see a trigger. Is it going to trigger me? It didn't trigger me. I'm going slow enough for it. Okay, good. Thank you. I already figured out on a previous attempt that did trigger on me. I would have still been able to get a good score, but it's just a sloppy way to finish. So I didn't want to keep that in the run. So now we're going to go ahead and come to a full stop here. I'm actually going to put full service on to get our time as quick as possible here. And we have arrived at Welwyn Garden City. A little bit of a sloppy finish on the speed, but we are going to finish this scenario here and we should be okay. Let's look at the train. So we've successfully driven train number 365537 to Welwyn Garden City. The route does continue to Peterborough, but we're going to have to look at that another time because there's a lot of stations beyond to Peterborough. And there's even more along the rest of the East Coast Main Line. We're going to have to explore Peterborough to York at some point, which I believe is the northeast route that's on DP Simulation. And we're going to have to do the ECML North, which is Edinburgh to York as well. Newcastle. Newcastle to Edinburgh. And anyway, that was a successful drive. I assume this will be the standard ending message, so we can ignore that. Let's go ahead and get to the scoring screen. As you can see, we've unlocked the Welwyn Whirlwind achievement here. This is, you want to know exactly what that is? I will tell you. Welwyn Whirlwind means that we've just simply beaten the scenario. It doesn't have any requirement, just that we've defeated the scenario. So no other discussion on that, just that we've done the scenario. I've said that 3 times because it's important to know that you don't need to actually have a certain score. You just have to complete the scenario. I'll stop talking about that now. Anyway, the next scenario we're going to do is going to be the up slow, heading back from Welwyn Garden City back to London London King's Cross. Why did I say St. Pancras? That line does join, but we're actually going to King's Cross. So we're going to head next time from where we just finished back to London King's Cross. We're going to have the glorious entry into King's Cross Station at the end. That's one of the many platforms. And we're going to get to enjoy that. And that's tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that video tomorrow. If you are on my playlist, it's probably already up. So unless you're looking at this as it released today. But if it is up, go ahead and go watch that too. And there's going to be more videos after that as well, going through additional videos on this route. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Cyclone. I will see you next time. That video begins in 3, 2, 1.